Today marks the 20th anniversary of the Tales of series. The first game, Tales of Fantasia, was released on December 15th, 1995 for the Japanese Famicom. Super Famicom, that is. It wasn't until 2006 that the US would see this game via a GBA port. That said, the first Tales of games that we received here was the second one, which is Tales of Destiny for the PS1 in 1998. And as long as we're going through first, my first entry in the series was Tales Symphonia, regarded as one of the best, for the GameCube in 2004. Now, Tales of Fantasia began with a developer called Wolf Team and was published by Namco. Wolf Team began in 1986 and had a good number of games under their belt before they even tackled Tales. They remained the lead developer as Wolf Team until 2003 when Namco gained control of the team through a buyout and rebranded the company as Namco Tales Studio. There's been a few other changes to the teams and names, but let's skip that and go a little bit more into Wolf Team's games before we get into celebrating the Tales of entries. It's pretty clear that Wolf Team was a talented developer, though it was as if they were building up to greatness. This first one here is Dino Lan, and it's a pinball game. Kind of a neat idea for a pinball game, and this dinosaur thing, just a dinosaur themed pinball game, kind of cool. And then of course we have Soul Dice, and it's, a shmup. It's fine, it looks decent, it's whatever. Ernest Evans is kind of like Indiana Jones, but like a weird string bean Indiana Jones. It's like a weird puppet. This one is purely not good. It's kind of fun because the physics are all whacked out, but definitely not a great game. Final Zone, though, is a pretty decent mech shooter. It's isometric, so you're going through this top-down perspective shooting things. The designs are pretty good. Again, fairly decent. As is El Vienlo. And this is a action game, another one where like the characteristics are really string beanie, I guess. It's kind of a decent action game, but again, nothing really crazy or worth mentioning on a great nostalgic note, I suppose. Arcus Odyssey, though, is a pretty cool top-down perspective game, multiplayer, and you're just going through dungeons. It's Diablo-like? I guess not really. Just kind of a cool little dungeon crawler little thing. Kind of neat. Lastly, we have Nugier, The Journey Home. And this is kind of more in line with a Zelda-type game, and it is actually pretty good. The sprites look a little odd, I will admit, but you start off in a pirate ship and then you're going through all this chaotic stuff. A pretty good opening to a game, and I love me some Zelda clones, and there's not really a lot like it. But yeah, it's just like a fun little Zelda clone for like the 50th time. I don't know, I really dig it. I think out of all these games, I think it's definitely worthy of a retrospective in and of itself. But let's get to the main event here and talk about the Tales of series. There are currently 15 games in the mainline series, with 2 of those being sequels, Destiny 2 and Xillia 2. Now let's go through all 15 real quick here before we move on. Tales of Fantasia, which was released for the Super Famicom in 1995. Tales of Destiny was released for the PS1 in 1997. Tales of Eternia was released for the PS1 in 2000. Tales of Destiny 2 was released for the PS1 in 2002. Tales of Symphonia was released for the GameCube in 2003. Tales of Rebirth was released for the PS2 in 2004. Tales of Legendia was released for the PS2 in 2005. Tales of the Abyss was released for the PS2 in that same year. Tales of Innocence was released for the DS in 2007. Tales of Vesperia was released for the Xbox 360 in 2008. Tales of Hearts was released for the DS in 2008. Tales of Graces was released for the Wii in 2009. Tales of Xillia was released in 2011 for the PS3. Tales of Xillia 2 was released for the PS3 in 2012. And Tales of Systeria, which I reviewed for Examiner, was released for the PS3 and PS4 in 2015. This year. Wow, who could have thunk it? Now, I want to mention that those release dates are based off of the original things, no ports or anything like that, and they're based off of Japanese because, like I said, the first game we didn't get till 1998. I'm not going to wait another 3 years to celebrate the series, or 2 years, I guess, since we're almost to 2016. Anyway, now, Tales of Eternia and Symphonia also had sequels, though they're not considered part of the main games. Also, I did not include Xillia 2 or Destiny 2 in this compilation as you're seeing this footage, because I just wanted to stick with the named entries. I don't want to focus on the sequels of any sort, because they're not really that good. I mean, for the most part, all of the Tales of games are pretty good, if not great. There's no really sour mark on the series, like Final Fantasy II for that series, or maybe some other ones, but still, they're all pretty good B-tier RPGs. Now, this is a huge deal in Japan. There's numerous spin-offs, including fighting games, a Dynasty Warriors type spin-off, there's card games, there's mobile stuff, anime, toys, manga, and so much more. It is gigantic, right alongside Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy. It hasn't really garnished a huge following in the US, but to those that do, really appreciate some of the key elements to it. Like Final Fantasy, the plotlines and worlds are... it's a similar approach where it's their own thing, none of them really tie in. There may be some Easter eggs here and there in between the games, but they're all their own thing except for, the sequels. Unlike Final Fantasy though, one of the franchise's key elements are skits. These dialogue passages through travel are both funny, as well as insightful character building techniques that more RPGs should really implement. Plus, in terms of the gameplay mechanics, the action RPG systems change from game to game. They kind of tweaked here and there, but they're mostly action for the most part. Tales of Symphonia was the first one that kind of did away with the random battles, or I should say the transitioning, because you basically encounter an enemy on the map, which they've been doing for a long time, but instead of going to a separate arena, you battle right there. Now, it's not as, action-oriented as like a Skyrim or something like that, but it's a little bit of change, perhaps for the better. Now, the next entry, Tales of Berseria, is set to release for the PS3 and PS4, probably sometime in 2016. Not much on the game is known, but I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more in 2016. That much is probably true as long... Actually, by the time this posts, they may have a huge thing going on in Japan. I have no idea. I am doing this the eve of the celebration, and this is posting on the 20th anniversary. Again, December 15th. That is when this is being created. So I hope I don't put my foot in my mouth and it's like, actually, Tales of Berseria is actually being changed to Tales of Bongo. Something. I just watched The Phantom Menace as well, so I got some words stuck in my head. Tales of Midichlorians. Anyway, I highly recommend you checking out one of these games in the series. I very much enjoy Tales of Symphonia. Again, that was my first one. Pick up the HD collection for the PS3 and maybe ignore the sequel that comes with it. I also dig Tales of Xillia. It's a little bit different for the series. Vesperia is one of my friend's favorites, and I enjoy that one quite a bit as well. And in terms of the one that I reviewed for Examiner, again, to pimp that out again, Zestiria is good. It's on a high note for the series. It does change some things. It feels like it got held back a little bit. And it's not without merit, but out of all of the games in the series, I think Tales of Xillia introduces a lot of new things that people will enjoy a lot. I really enjoy that one in the series very much. I recommend that one. Probably of the most recent ones, try that out. PS3 is very easily to grab, and I guess as long as you're in that console market, maybe find Vesperia as well. Anyway, hopefully I'll be talking more about Tales in the future. I try to cover this as much as I can. I dig it. I haven't played every single game in the series, but I have dabbled here and there, as you're seeing for the footage. It took me a very long time to capture all this, by the way, but again, this is a very underrated series, so who knows what 2016 will bring with Berseria, but for now, let's just wish the Tales of Games a very happy and well-deserved 20th anniversary. Boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom.